It's a very warm welcome to all our viewers and welcome to a new episode of Inside Egypt, where we bring you the latest political, economic and cultural events that have taken place here inside Egypt, all prepared by our reporters and correspondents at Nile TV International. My name is Angie Meher. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back after the short break. Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi continues his state visit to Portugal on Tuesday. Before concluding his three-day visit, President el-Sisi met with a number of leading Portuguese and visited the parliament and the military academy. The talks covered means of boosting Portuguese investments in Egypt and capitalizing on Portugal's expertise in the fields of communications and maritime transportation. The President also reviewed mega national projects implemented, expressing hope that Portuguese companies will take part in the various investment opportunities. President el-Sisi also visited the Portuguese High Military Academy. During his visit, the president gave a speech in which he stressed the importance of international cooperation to face the threat of terrorism. Late on Monday, President de Souza held a dinner in honor of President el-Sisi. The dinner was attended by high-ranking officials and dignitaries. Addressing the gathering, President el-Sisi expressed confidence that the two countries' relations will witness a real progress in the upcoming period. He also invited the Portuguese president to visit Egypt. Earlier on Monday, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held summit talks with his Portuguese counterpart, Marcelo de Souza. Nile TV's correspondent in Lisbon, Linda Abdelatif, filed in this report on the president's activities in Lisbon on Monday.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi started off his official visit to the Portuguese capital, Lisbon. The president's first destination was the Jerónimos Cathedral, where he was received by Portuguese President Marcelo Rebelo de Souza, where the welcoming ceremony took place. Following the welcoming ceremony, the president took a tour at the cathedral and put flowers at the tomb of the famous Portuguese poet Luís Camões. Afterwards, President el-Sisi headed to the Belém Palace, where joint meeting with the Portuguese president that was followed by an expanded meeting that was attended by officials from both countries. Following that, the two leaders held a joint press conference. For his part, President el-Sisi praised the friendly welcome, adding that Egypt has undergone changes in the last period that have shaped new hopes of change, democracy and development, and in that regards, President el-Sisi expressed his appreciation for the Portuguese position towards Egypt's democratic transition, adding that such a visit will be a quantum leap in the economic relations between both countries. The president also added that he's very pleased with agreeing on the importance of putting the required framework to implement projects in different fields through following the activation of the Joint Committee for Cooperation, which will hold its first meeting in Egypt soon. President el-Sisi also called for the investment incentives provided by the Egyptian government in light of the new investment law, and within the distinguished opportunities provided by development projects in Egypt, on top of which is the development project in the Suez Canal area. President el-Sisi also spoke about the geographical proximity of both countries, which imposes coordination between both countries to face the challenges facing the region, which include illegal immigration and the refugees issue. The president also said that their discussions include to solve a number of crises that are crucial for the stability and the security in the Mediterranean area. For his part, Portuguese President de Souza said that this historical visit is a proof of the friendly relations between both countries. He also thanked President el-Sisi for supporting Portuguese Antonio Guterres for the post of the UN Secretary General. The Portuguese leader also praised Egypt's geographic location, adding that such a visit will strengthen cooperation in the political, social, cultural, economic and strategic fields. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was also received by the Portuguese Prime Minister António Costa at the Ministry of Foreign that quarter, where both leaders had a joint meeting that was followed by an expanded meeting that was attended by officials from both countries. The topics tackled included strengthening bilateral relations in all fields and strengthening the economic and business mutual cooperation. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi also visited the headquarters of the mayor of Lisbon, where he received the key of Lisbon city. There, the president thanked the mayor of Lisbon, adding that such a gesture is a translation of the desire to strengthen the friendly relations between both countries. The president also added that Lisbon has always been the bridge of cooperation and dialogue between nations, adding that its name has always been linked with the geographical discoveries to which the Portuguese sailors have brought closer the confidence. The visit of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Portugal is the first Egyptian presidential visit to the country since 24 years, and as such is expected to be a quantum leap in the bilateral relations between both countries, who have witnessed many cultural and civilizational interactions in light of their geographical proximity and the intersection of interests at several stages of history. From the Portuguese capital, Lisbon, this is Linda Abdelatif reporting for Nile TV International.
After the summit talks between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his Portuguese counterpart, the two leaders held a joint press conference. al-Sisi praised progress in the two countries' relations. Details of means of developing the Egyptian-Portuguese relations were also the focus of the president's statements to the Portuguese news agency. We have the details of the president's statements coming your way in this report.
The Egyptian-Portuguese summit was held on Monday in the capital, Lisbon. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with his Portuguese counterpart, Marcelo de Sousa. After the talks, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said that Egypt appreciates Portugal's balanced stance towards the democratic transition process in Egypt and its understanding of the Egyptian people's desire for progress and freedom. In a joint press conference held with his Portuguese counterpart, al-Sisi said he trusts Portugal's support in building democratic and progressive Egypt. The president went on to say that during the meeting it was clear that Portugal was aware of the important role Egypt is playing in the region and the importance of its peace and security and its direct impact on the stability of the Mediterranean region and Europe. al-Sisi said that there was significant progress in bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries over the past few years. He added that there will be a joint committee for economic and technical cooperation that will hold its first meeting in Cairo in the near future. al-Sisi urged Portuguese investors to take advantage of the opportunities in infrastructure and development projects in Egypt. The president said that the two countries are geographically and should work together to tackle several issues, including terrorism, extremism, and illegal immigration. al-Sisi concluded the press conference by saying he is looking forward to increased cooperation between the two countries, reaffirming the important role Portugal has on the international level and its ability to maintain international peace and security. al-Sisi's visit to Portugal began on Sunday and concludes on Tuesday. The Portuguese news agency held an interview with the president on Saturday prior to his visit. He touched upon several issues including human rights, combating terrorism, and economy in Egypt. During the interview, al-Sisi said that there was a 37% increase in the rate of trade between Egypt and Portugal last year. al-Sisi's trip marks the first visit of an Egyptian official to Portugal in 24 years. Egypt was the first country to be invited to meet de Sousa since he took office in March.
On the sidelines of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's visit to Portugal, Nile TV's correspondent Linda Abdelatif conducted the following interview with the Minister of Trade and Industry, Tariq Khabil, who was accompanying the president amongst a high-level delegation. Khabil spoke on the bilateral trade between Egypt and Portugal, Egypt's exports as well as Portuguese investments. Let's take a look.
On the sidelines of the visit of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Portugal, I'm being joined right now by Minister of Trade and Industry, Engineer Tariq Khabil. Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining us today on Nile TV International.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Let's start off first, sir, with how do you see the significance of this visit?
I think it's a very, very important visit. It's the first visit since more than 30 years of Egyptian president to Portugal. Portugal, we have historically a very positive relationship. You know, they were probably one of the first countries supported the revolution of 30th of June. So it has a very important political element, as well as it's part of the Mediterranean, and we have a very good relation with most of the Mediterranean company, including Spain, France, even Italy and Greece. But it has also an important commercial short-term and longer-term benefits.
It's now time for the latest updates from the military activities this week, coming your way by Yasmin Ibrahim.
Egypt and Jordan held joint military drills entitled Aqaba 2016 in southern Jordan and will continue until the 25th of November. Egypt's military spokesman said that the Egyptian naval, ground and special army forces are participating in the drills. The training includes lectures on launching joint missions and field trainings on non-traditional theories and tactics to develop operational readiness and share the experiences with the Jordanian armed forces. Egypt has carried out 30 joint military exercises in 2016, partnering with 20 different Arab and African countries, as well as European countries, including France and Russia. 9 Takfiris were killed in an exchange of fire with army forces in northern Sinai as part of the comprehensive Operation Martyr's Right terrorism. 40 IEDs were defused and amounts of ammunition were seized during the raid. The terrorist group launched deadly attacks against the police and army personnel stationed in northern Sinai. Therefore, an extensive counterinsurgency operation was launched to fight terrorism. Naval forces rescued a tourist yacht at Marsa Alam City with 33 persons on board after encountering technical problems. The naval base in the Red Sea received a distress call from Diving City yacht after it broke down. Naval units rushed to the scene and evacuated 24 tourists and 9 crew members who were on board. The yacht was towed to the naval base for repairs. Meanwhile, the naval forces seized 2 Italian fishing vessels while illegally fishing in the Egyptian territorial waters. The 2 boats were carrying 14 persons of different nationalities.
في 18 من نوفمبر عام 2005 توفي حسين الشافعي نائب رئيس الجمهورية الأسبق عن عمر ناهز 87 عاما. كان أحد أعضاء حركة الضباط الأحرار. ولد في 8 من فبراير عام 1918. شغل منصب وزير الحربية عام 1954 وفي عام 1963.
Two of Egypt's main banks increased the volume of funds granted in loans to small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and enterprises. This comes in line with instructions to support these projects in order to achieve economic and social development. We have these details in this report.
Two of Egypt's main banks announced the volume of funds they granted to small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and micro-enterprises sectors in various fields, including industrial, agricultural, and service projects. Supporting SMEs is one of the main pillars of the Egyptian economic reform program. Officials said that one of the banks granted a number of loans worth 3.8 billion Egyptian pounds for 419,000 clients who are working in SMEs. According to a statement issued by the bank, the size of SME's loan portfolio amounted to 1.5 billion Egyptian pounds, serving 1,403 clients, bringing the bank's total customers to 51,800 clients with finances estimated at 3.3 billion Egyptian pounds. The bank said that its efforts to finance SMEs and micro-enterprises come in line with the state instructions to support these projects in order to achieve economic and social development. It added that the bank had offered 30,400 loans worth 983 million Egyptian pounds under the National Initiative for Community
development مشروعك or your project during a year and a half.
Meanwhile, another bank announced that its total loan portfolio of small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and micro-enterprises reached more than 27 billion Egyptian pounds and 51,000 projects by the end of October. Bank officials stated that in June 2011, the bank's portfolio had reached only 6 billion Egyptian pounds and 18 billion Egyptian pounds in June 2015.
They revealed that the bank aims to expand their portfolio to 72 billion Egyptian pounds
within the next 4 years. The official explained that about 6,000 projects benefited from the financing, with a monthly average of 1,500 clients and 33 of total projects financed in 2015-16 fiscal year. They noted that the governorates of Upper Egypt have obtained the lion's share of, in terms of, he noted that the governorates of Upper Egypt have obtained the lion's share in terms of the number of clients from the initiative and the finances provided, where the share reached 39% of the total number of customers and 26% of the value of financing. The local development Mashru'ak, your project initiative, aims to achieve community development in all provinces and villages through providing development opportunities and creating new job opportunities in these places.
The head of the Tourism Activation Authority, Hisham Al-Dimiri, on Monday received Egypt Air's first direct charter flights from Japan to Egypt after a 5-year hiatus. The flight routed Osaka, Tokyo, Cairo was carrying 230 passengers. It will be a weekly flight until next May. Al-Dimiri praised the return of Japanese tourists to Egypt as having the highest spending rates and for having interest in classical cultural tourism. The details.
The Tourism Promotion Authority said in a statement Monday that Luxor Airport received the first Japanese flight carrying 230 passengers to visit the cities of Luxor, Aswan, and Cairo. The flight marks the resumption of flights from Japan to Luxor. Weekly charter flights are expected to run throughout the winter season until May of next year. Tourism Authority Chairman stressed the importance of the return of Japanese tourists who are characterized by high spending rates compared to other nationalities, in addition to their market in culture and heritage tourism, which the authority seeks to develop. This is considered the first major arrival of Japanese tourists to Luxor after a 5-year absence from Egypt. As the winter begins, the tourism sector in Egypt flourished slightly in some cities, including Hurghada, Sharm el-Sheikh, Luxor, Alexandria, and Siwa Oasis. According to data released by the Red Sea Port Authority in October, there has been a 20% increase in the number of people moving throughout Egypt's seaports in the Red Sea this year. Some tourism experts forecast a promising season compared to last winter, with still very low tourist influx. The head of the tourism companies at the Chamber of Commerce said there are signs of recovery in the tourism season, especially after the intense promotional campaigns that were launched by the government to revive tourism. He expected a 5 to 10% increase in the tourism flow this winter. On behalf of the Egyptian government, a marketing firm launched a 3-month tourism marketing campaign in September 2016 at a cost of more than $20 million. The campaign targets 12 European nations and is part of an agreement reached with the Egyptian Tourism Authority last year. In another sign of recovery in the tourism sector, Ministry of Tourism spokesperson Omnia Al-Husseini said that the Arab Tourism Organization named the Red Sea resort of Hurghada as the capital of the Arab summer holiday destinations in 2017. The Arab Tourism Organization said that Hurghada was chosen due to its security services, infrastructure, and hospitality. Al-Husseini stated that this is expected to boost tourism activity in the city up to 30% in light of the upcoming events planned to celebrate the Arab Organization's decision.
With that, we come to the end of today's episode of Inside We brought you the latest in the world of politics, economics, and cultural events taking place here inside Egypt. We do hope you've enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Till then, it's goodbye.